Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Maria. I'm a data engineer consultant at BASS. BASS is a UK-based technology consultancy. And as a data engineer, what I do is to help BAS clients that are big UK companies, government agencies, and so on, with their big data pipelines and data architecture. And I'm going to explain later more in detail what that means. But first, I want to share my switch to data story with you, in case that inspires or is helpful for you. So I joined BASS as a data engineer 1 year ago, and got into data like around 2 years ago. And at that time, I was a bit bored of my previous role, and I watched a documentary that was called The Third Industrial Revolution. And in that documentary, they were talking about the impact and a vision about how new technologies and also big data technologies could tackle and some of the global problems as climate change. So that got me really excited and interested. I started to do more digging into data technology world. And then I decided to do a career switch and join a training program on the weekends. Months later, after a lot of training and learning a lot of new things, I landed my data engineering role. So far, I'm still excited and learning a lot after 1 year. And considering COVID times, I feel like quite secure in terms of job, and I have skills that are on demand and are relevant. So that's my story. Hopefully it serves to you. But let's stop talking about me. I'm gonna talk you about the world of data. So it's a very good moment to start a career or join the data world, mainly for 2 reasons. The first one is the incredible growth of the data available due to social media, Internet of Things, and then the latest changes in technology, in particular big data technology. What is big data? I'm going to explain. It's the data that has such a high volume, or it moves so quickly, or is so diverse, changes so quickly that you cannot handle it with a traditional data system. So now we have new technologies that allow us to use this data, and we can do incredible things now with a lot of data. We can do fraud detection, we can understand language, and even things like self-driving cars. All those things are things that are working due to using a lot of data. So it is a really exciting field, and there are a lot of businesses out there that are looking for data skills in people because they want to foster these new technologies and opportunities. So it's a career with high demand and a lot of future. So I'm gonna walk you through 3 important roles in a data department in the world of data. Data engineer is the one I do, so it's the one I know more. But I'm gonna talk you also about data scientist and data analyst, so you have an idea of what every of these roles do. A data engineer, so we basically build data architectures or big data architectures and data pipelines. This means, for example, if you think in an online retail, we will put together a data store to store all the data of the organization. So the data users, data analysts, data scientists can take it from there and use it for their purposes. So we do a lot of the things that we do on an everyday basis is we do a lot of technical designs, because we have to think, okay, which is the right technology that is going to meet these requirements, it's gonna solve these problems, what is the format that my data needs to have, what is the structure. So we do a lot of programming, testing the code, and investigating and fixing the bugs, and so on. If the data pipeline is just like a piece of software that ingests data, and it will go through different stages. It will first clean it, then transform it to a format, and it has different sequential stages. Typically, that's why it's called a pipeline. So we build those things, and then we maintain them. If they are not fast enough, we have to tune it, and yeah. I will say that a data engineer is really like a software engineer that is specialized in data technologies. So we follow a lot of the software engineer practices, like versioning the code, testing, and so on. So that's something very important for a data engineer to know and follow. With relevant skills, if you want to become a data engineer, obviously you need to know how to program. The most popular languages are Python, definitely is very widely used. Scala is quite popular as well. R, I don't think is that much in use at the moment. You need to know a lot about SQL databases, because they are everywhere. They are the most traditional ones, but they are still everywhere. It's very, very nice if you also know how to handle non-SQL databases, such as MongoDB, that are more new, more recent technologies. To work with big data, you need to know your way with distributed data frameworks, such as Spark or Hadoop. Both of them very widely used. I will say Spark is newer, and nowadays almost everything is built in the cloud. So good to know your way in any of the clouds, the Microsoft, Amazon, or Google one. And coming back to my point about software engineering, know how to use Git, so you know how to work with different versions of the code, and so on. Typical profile of a data engineer will be someone that enjoys building things and has attention to detail and good problem solvers. And something to have in mind is that big data technologies, they change all the time. So data engineers, we have to be learning all the time new things and consulting in technology forums on the internet, reading books, and so on. And another important role around data is the data scientist. So what data scientists do is that they take the data that is made available by the data engineers. They will explore it, manipulate it, and do analysis to answer business questions. Frequently, these analyses are very sophisticated, statistical analysis. So yeah, and they also build machine learning models and neural networks. These are like very complicated, I will say, big data algorithms that they use a lot of data, and they can do predictions, they can classify stuff, and deliver recommendations and do a lot of things. So these are the things that a data scientist do, and in a typical day, they do a lot of data exploration and a lot of data cleansing and transformation. They will be prototyping machine learning models. For those machine learning models that are in production, they might monitor them, check that they are still delivering results that are accurate, and they will be writing reports and presentations to communicate their findings to the business or to their audience. And also machine learning the data scientist field is very, very new, and there are like new things coming up all the time. So they also need to be learning new things all the time. The skills that a data scientist will need, also programming, R and Python are the main data data transformation programming languages. Python has very nice machine learning and data libraries. They also need to know how to use SQL query language, because as I say before, SQL databases, they are everywhere, so that's really needed. And data scientists need to know statistical methods, linear algebra, supervised and unsupervised learning, so they are able to do their analysis and their algorithms. The profile of a data scientist will be someone with an analytical and statistical mind, and it's important they are good communicators so they can communicate effectively the results that they get. Finally, I wanted to introduce the data analyst, another role around data. And data analysts, what they do is that they take the data as well provided typically from data engineers, and they will build visualizations and they will build dashboards that then the business use to keep informed about what is going on and to make decisions, informed decisions. It's very common that they use a business intelligence tool. The two more popular ones, common use ones, are Power BI and Tableau. So for anyone wanted to become a data analyst, any of these two will be a good, important skill to have. And these things normally work with SQL databases or SQL data warehouses. So it's good to know about SQL as well. And yeah, I also want to say that there is a lot of overlap between these three roles, particularly in a company that is small or a startup. You might find someone that is doing ingesting the data and putting it and maintaining it in a data warehouse, and also doing analysis and machine learning and a mix of things that belong to any of these three roles. So if you are interested if you cannot decide which is the one that is for you, yeah, you can always find a role in which you can explore several. So yeah, that's everything from me. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this helpful. And if you are interested in switching to data or have a career in data, check out the BASS webpage, because we have plenty of opportunities. We are looking for mainly data engineers, but any data skill, and we are looking for people from junior to more experienced.